All right, so we're diving into something really special today. John Mayer's Continuum. This album, it's like a musical landmark.
It really is, and it's amazing how this album just connected with so many people. It wasn't just the songs themselves, it was more like a statement, you know?
Yeah.
Mayer was kind of like shedding that pop star image and just embracing these bluesy and soulful influences, and it really resonated both with critics and fans.
Totally. And you've brought in such a cool mix of sources for us to dig into today, like reviews, fan interpretations. We even have a whole deep dive on the lyrics of Stop This Train, which I'm really excited about getting to later on.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But before we get there, let's kind of set the stage. For anyone who might not be super familiar with John Mayer's kind of musical journey up to this point,
Sure.
can you give us a little bit of background on where he was musically before Continuum?
Yeah, definitely. Before Continuum, I think most people knew him for his, those radio-friendly pop hits like, Your Body is a Wonderland, Daughters. It's
Right.
talented for sure, but Continuum, that's where he really, I don't know, showed his musical depth,
Yeah.
really showed off his guitar skills, and his songwriting just went, way deeper.
Okay, so let's jump into the music.
Yeah.
The album opens with Waiting on the World to Change.
Yeah.
And there's this one line that always, always gets me. Now I've got a whole lot to lose, and I don't want to lose it. It's just so, perfectly captures that feeling you have when you're young. Like idealism mixed with anxiety.
It does, it does. And the way he sings it, it's so conversational.
Yes.
He's just confiding in you, the listener, And then musically, the song has this, laid-back groove,
Right.
which contrasts with the urgency in the lyrics. So it creates this really cool, tension.
It's so true. And that's something I really love about Mayer's songwriting, is that he can take these, complex emotions, but he makes them into these catchy melodies.
Yeah, exactly. It's that accessibility. That's what makes his music so relatable, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And that vulnerability, it continues on the next track. I don't trust myself with loving you.
Oh, yeah.
That lyric. So, baby, if you're looking for a lover, you should start with something safer, because I'm not the safest bet. It's so raw and honest, almost painful.
It's like he's putting it all out there,
Yeah.
admitting his flaws right from the start. And the music reflects that vulnerability too,
Right.
It's got that slow bluesy feel, almost, I don't know, like a lament.
Yeah. The way he uses that minor key and those bluesy guitar riffs, it just amplifies the emotion even more.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
Yeah, it's masterful. And then we move into Belief, which is a whole different theme, grapples with this idea of the power of belief and how hard it is to change someone's mind.
It's tough.
It is tough.
But that line, belief is a beautiful armor, but makes for the heaviest sword. It's just so perfect. It captures both sides of belief, how it can be a source of strength, but also, it can divide us.
It's such a strong image.
Yeah.
And something that, it resonates so much right now, especially with everything going on in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Mayer's music has this uncanny way of tapping into those timeless themes, even when it's, coming from his own personal experiences.
For sure. And Gravity, which is next, is the perfect example of that.
Gravity. Oh, this one gets me every time.
It's so stripped back, so intimate. And the way he builds the intensity throughout the song, it's just, masterful.
For me, it's that line, just keep me where the light is.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it says so much about, trying to stay afloat when life's challenges are trying to, pull you under.
Totally. And the music, it mirrors that struggle too. It starts slow and quiet, almost hesitant,
Yeah.
And then it builds layer by layer until it reaches this powerful crescendo. It's like that battle against gravity,
And then that extended guitar solo at the end. Pure emotion. His guitar work on this whole album, it's phenomenal. It's like he's, pouring his soul into the music through his instrument.
Truly is. And it's interesting how he blends all those different styles so easily. You can hear blues, rock, soul. It's all woven together.
Seamlessly. Now, The Heart of Life,
Mm-hmm.
the next track, it offers us a little bit of a break from all that intensity, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a bit more uplifting, but it still has a sense of realism in the lyrics,
Absolutely. The line, pain throws your heart to the ground, love turns the whole thing around, is such a perfect example of that. Acknowledging the darkness, but still offering that glimmer of hope.
And musically, it's just so joyful. The acoustic guitar, that upbeat tempo, it creates a sense of optimism that's contagious.
But then we get to Vultures, and things take a bit of a darker turn again.
Yeah, this one's all about cynicism. distrust, that feeling of being surrounded by people who are just like waiting for you to fail, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like predatory. Like
Yeah,
just circling overhead, waiting to like pick you apart.
exactly. And that line, they love to watch you fall, it just like captures that like feeling of malice, you know?
Musically, this song is so interesting. It's got this driving beat, and it's almost menacing, the instrumentation, the way the guitars build that tension. It's brilliant. You can, like, feel the vultures closing in.
Yeah, it's cinematic, almost like a soundtrack for a thriller. Definitely sets a different mood than the other tracks, yeah.
Okay. So we finally arrived at Stop This Train. This song, it's kind of a centerpiece of the whole album, both lyrically and musically.
It is. It really resonates with people across generations, too.
It's because it taps into that universal fear of, like, time passing, getting older, losing loved ones. That line, I'm only good at being young, it hits me hard every single time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so relatable. And the way he expresses that fear, it's not just about, wrinkles or losing his youth. It's deeper than that. It's about feeling unprepared for the weight of responsibility, the inevitability of loss, that feeling that life just keeps moving forward, whether you're ready or not.
Yeah, and that conversation with his dad in the song, it adds a whole other layer.
It's so true.
It's like he's looking for reassurance, but also starting to realize that, even his dad can't stop time. It's such a, like, poignant look at that, that generational gap and the wisdom that comes with age. And that acceptance that life is a journey we all have to go through.
Yes.
And musically, the arrangement is so simple. It really amplifies that emotional punch. It's just Mayer's voice, the acoustic guitar, those like subtle strings in the background. It creates this, I don't know, intimate and moving sound.
It does. And the pacing is great too. It starts slow and introspective, then builds to this like powerful climax as he's like confronting those fears. It's like a musical journey that mirrors the lyrics perfectly. And speaking of journeys, the next track, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room, takes us to a whole other emotional landscape.
Oh, Slow Dancing. It's classic. Heartbreaking, but so well crafted.
Yeah.
It's like this picture of a relationship falling apart, but they're still just going through the motions, pretending everything's okay.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The imagery in the song is so strong, especially that line, we're going down, and you can see it too, we're going down in flames. You can practically feel the heat, the pain, as this relationship burns.
And Mayer's vocals on this track are just top-notch. The way he sings that longing and desperation, it's captivating. I think what makes it so effective is the contrast between the lyrics and the music. The melody's so smooth, almost like a waltz, but the lyrics are describing this like intense and destructive situation. It's like dancing on the edge of a volcano.
Exactly, exactly. Creates that tension, keeps you on the edge of your seat for sure. And then there's Bold as Love, the Jimi Hendrix cover. I was a bit skeptical at first. Covering Hendrix is a bold move.
It is bold.
It is.
Yeah.
But he makes it his own.
He does. He does. And it's like, he pays tribute to the original, but he still brings in his own style, his own musicality. The guitar work is amazing. You can hear that Hendrix influence, but it's still distinctly John Mayer.
Totally.
And speaking of distinct, up next is Dreaming with a Broken Heart, which is just pure heartbreak.
Oh, yeah. When you're dreaming with a broken heart, the waking up is the hardest part. It's so relatable, that feeling of waking up from a dream where you were happy and having to face the reality of your pain.
It's like that moment where my alarm goes off and you have to go from like this blissful state back to the real world, back to heartbreak. And the way he builds the song up to that final chorus, it's masterful. It's a slow burn that just leaves you emotionally drained, but in like the best possible way.
It's an emotional roller coaster. Quiet desperation to raw emotion. And then in Repair, it continues with those themes of heartbreak and healing, but with maybe a bit more of a hopeful tone. Recognizing that you're not okay, but taking steps to mend yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the vulnerability in these lyrics. I'm in repair. I'm not together, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It's that reminder that healing is a process. It's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the music, it has this beautiful, uplifting quality, like a ray of sunshine breaking through. It's in that delicate piano, those layered harmonies in the chorus. It's a sonic representation of healing.
Yeah. And finally, we get to I'm Gonna Find Another You, which closes the album out on this like upbeat note. It's about moving on, finding someone new, but it's not, bitter.
Right.
angry.
It's more like acceptance, realizing that you can love and be loved again. There's a maturity there. It's refreshing.
Totally. I love the line, I'm gonna find another you, I'm gonna find another me. It's not just about replacing someone. It's about finding someone who helps you, grow and become a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
And the music itself, it's got this driving, almost celebratory feel, like embracing the future. It's a perfect way to end the album, leaving you with a sense of hope and optimism.
It is.
So after diving deep into Continuum, what stands out to you most? What makes it such an important album in Mayer's career, and why do you think it still connects with listeners after all this time?
For me, it's that blend of vulnerability and musical maturity. He's not afraid to be open, with his emotions in the lyrics, but he does it with a musical sophistication that just elevates everything. It's like he found the perfect balance between being relatable and being a true artist.
It's like he's letting us in,
Yeah.
witnessing his struggles, his triumphs, his heartbreak, his moments of self-discovery. And it's that rawness, that honesty, that's what makes Continuum so powerful, so lasting.
Exactly. And it's not just the lyrics. It's how he takes those personal themes and he blends them with these like incredibly catchy melodies and just amazing musicianship. That's what takes it from, a bunch of songs to a cohesive, impactful album.
For sure. What about you? Was there a specific line or a moment on the album that really stuck with you, something you find yourself going back to?
I keep coming back to that line in Stop This Train, where he says, "Don't for a minute change the place you're in." It's simple, but it's got so much meaning,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a reminder, appreciate the present moment, even when things are tough, when life feels like uncertain.
Right, like he's saying, embrace the journey, even when it feels overwhelming or scary. Appreciate each stage of life, because
Yeah.
they all have something to offer, even the messy parts.
Exactly, exactly. It's easy to get stuck in the past or worry about the future, but that line, it brings you back. Be present, enjoy the now, because that's all we really have.
This whole deep dive, it's really given me a fresh perspective on Continuum. It's not just the songs themselves, but the album as a whole. How the songs flow together, how they build on each other. It's like it's telling a story.
It's like a tapestry, all these different musical threads, and at the heart of it all, you have John Mayer's voice. Raw, honest, full of emotion.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Continuum, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. If you could stop the train at any point in your life, when would it be and why? What moment would you want to hold on to just a little bit longer?
Yeah. Think about it, and maybe even revisit the album with this new perspective. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Continuum. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep exploring the music that moves you.